Welcome to a new year, everyone. This is episode 8 of I Drink and I Stack Things, the show that asks, why is this roller coaster ride so damn expensive lately? Because I'm recording this fairly early in the morning, today's drink is going to be Guinness Zero Non Alcoholic Draft. As always, this video is not sponsored by anyone, and as it happens, I have never tried this before, so we're going to find out together what it's like. Ooh, do you hear that? There's a little ball in there. I'm pouring it into a glass because I am not some kind of uncivilized barbarian who drinks out of a can, especially when it's a premium beer, shall we say. It certainly looks like Guinness. At least it does to me. It's got that perfect sort of headline to it there. But how does it taste? That's the important part. Well, without the alcohol in it, you can really taste the fish bladder. Actually, it's not too bad, but it doesn't have that sting that alcoholic beer typically does, so anyway, I will be drinking more of that when we're done here. With that, let's get to talking about the newest roller coaster, the Silver Streak. Prepare for dizzying highs along with the occasional dip. Now, there are forces at work that I'm not going to get into too much because they've been covered extensively by other channels, but things like paper silver versus real silver, etc. But what I will talk about is how you, the stacker of modest means, can still take part in this hobby despite a single round going for over $100 at this point. Now, the few rounds you see here, I didn't pay anywhere near that much for them, but I bought them a year ago. And that wasn't even the best time to get into it. The very best time was probably 20 years ago when a round was $5. But the second best time to get into stacking is now. Now, let me start this by saying I hate the term junk silver. To me, it conjures up images of some old necklaces in grandma's attic that are all tangled together and covered with a bunch of dust. But I get why people say it. It's shorter than constitutional silver, and I don't really know a better term. But whatever you call it, this is the way to keep stacking silver on a budget. The cheapest will be so-called mercury dimes. They are actually Liberty heads with a no, she's got like a lightning bolt in there, and people think that looks like mercury, so there you go. Now, your local coin shop will usually have bags full of these, and they don't carry really any numismatic value. I mean, they are the closest thing to being literally junk, I guess you could say, because they don't typically keep them in the little paper sleeves stapled together unless they're just unusually brilliant and uncirculated. But you can typically get them even now with silver at $110 an ounce. You could typically get these for $6 to $8. So right now, that's even cheaper than a gold back. And you don't have to concern yourself with how pretty they are because when you convert them to fiat or barter them or trade them for clean water during the boogaloo, no one's really going to care what they look like. They just care what the silver content is. Now, if you get a windfall to spend like $150 or $200 and you plan to get yourself a nice round or a silver eagle, instead of taking the change in fiat, get as many mercury dimes as the store will let you. That way, you're still taking as much value of silver for your fiat as you can. I would still recommend you get them from a reputable coin shop because there are fakes out there, though not as many as, say, Morgan's. Now, that's one reason to have your handy-dandy scale nearby. We'll go ahead and switch this on. And you see, I got a little stack of mercury dimes here. And one of them weighs about 2.5 grams. About 2.5. Roughly 2.5. You also have to account for these coins are 80 years old and were actually in people's pockets for more than half of that. And so, of course, they get worn down a little bit. But the scale is also a good way. It's not the only way, but it's a good way to tell fakes. For instance, we have this Walking Liberty $50 here. See, it's supposed to weigh about 12 and a half. Well, it's 12.46. It's a little worn. And we have this nice shiny one here, and it weighs 11.13. Well, that's way off, especially for something in that condition. Well, that's because if you look right there, it says fake copy. Now, unfortunately, actual fake copies won't necessarily say that on there, so that's why you want to weigh it. Make sure you're careful about what you buy. Get it from a reputable dealer. If you get something from eBay, you can return it if it turns out to be fake. However, there are also a lot of stores that sell things. For instance, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, they'll have auctions on eBay, and they're going to be more reliable because they have much bigger reputations on the line if they sell something that's fake. Now, gold, you see, I do have a few gold backs here. Hasn't gone quite as nuts as silver has over the past year, but is still on an upward trajectory. Gold backs alone have gone up in value nearly $4 over the past year, along with gold. So it's still a good way to buy very small amounts of gold very cheaply. I mean, as long as you can still get one for $10 or two for 20, that's not too bad. It's certainly not as cheap as if you could buy, for instance, a gram of gold for $150 or an ounce of gold, but I'm going under the premise that you can't afford an ounce of gold. I certainly can't. I'm not one of those big YouTube channels with a million subscribers yet. Maybe someday. Now, there are also some collectible gold backs out there, and I have a couple of them here to show you. This is the Dallas Fort Worth gold back, and this is a very limited edition. It does have a serial number on it, but it's not very significant. And what just came out recently are these Washington, D.C. gold backs that you see here, and they're very fancy when you turn on the UV light. They got little fireworks going on and a whole bunch of hidden stuff. However, these are selling for quite a bit more than a typical gold back. I'm seeing them for $25 and up on eBay. Now, bear in mind, what I'm dealing with on this channel is more about stacking rather than collecting. If collecting is something you want to get into, that's fine, but I would recommend keeping it away from stacking as such, because the goal of stacking is to get as much metal as you can because, well, just because. Let's put it that way. Now, with all the craziness going on, some people might ask, with the gold and silver ratio the lowest it's been in decades, is it a good time to swap silver for gold? Well, maybe if you have a lot of it, but if you have less than 100 ounces, I will just personally tell you, since I don't give financial advice, as it were, I'm holding on to mine because I don't think this roller coaster is done yet. Also, a lot of these, I kind of have sentimental value with them. I mean, I hope to live to be 100 years old and maybe still have a lot of these because there hasn't been any SHTF situation or any financial downturn requiring me to pull them out. It would be a nice thing to hold on to. I especially like this one. It's a 2-ounce high relief. I don't want to say fake Morgan because it is obviously 2 ounces of real silver, but it's not a proper Morgan. It's not really from 1878 as the date indicates. But I just think it looks really nice. I think a lot of these look nice, and that is part of why I'm stacking. I mean, certainly something like this, the Hades Silverback that just came out. I mean, it's lovely and all, but it's got a thousandth of a troy ounce. It will never be worth anything as far as the metal goes, but I got it anyway, mostly because it came in a deal with the Washington, D.C. goldbacks. Well, I'm starting to ramble, and I got a beer waiting for me, so that's all I got for you today. Remember to like and subscribe. I'd like to get to 100 subscribers if I can pretty soon. I'm going to try to put out more videos without getting too much into my personal life. I suddenly find myself having more free time. So I am going to try to put out more videos as topics come up. But for now, I'm going to enjoy my Guinness. Until next time.